HR Tech, and thanks for joining our session on tomorrow's TA Today, AI, Analytics, and Automation Top 10. I'm Zach Linder, and I'm the Vice President of Analytics and Machine Learning at JobBite, and I'll be your host for the next 30 minutes as we talk about the exciting world of AI, analytics, and automation, and how it will increase the recruiter productivity, efficiency, and overall hiring success. Today with me, I have our guests and resident experts, Morgan Llewellyn, our Chief Data Scientist at JobBite. Morgan, say hi.
Hi, Zach. Thanks for having me.
And we've also got Dwayne Monteus, the co-founder and CEO of Talentigy, which was recently acquired by JobBite.
Hey, Zach. Hey, Morgan. Good to be with you guys.
Awesome. And so before we get started, just a little bit about JobBite. So JobBite is a full-service talent acquisition suite that enables our customers to attract, engage, hire, promote, and onboard the talent that they need to succeed. So some of the features and products that we have in the JobBite platform are sourcing and CRM solutions, a applicant tracking system, onboarding, intelligent messaging, career sites, and many others, all of which are powered by human and machine power, enabling our customers to focus on creating a fantastic ability to reach out to their candidates and have a great experience for both talent acquisition professionals and all of their candidates. These were all hot topics in the TA space well before 2020, but they picked up a lot of buzz this year. Before we get started, let's hear what some of my colleagues and industry-leading analysts have to say about this.
I'm curious about the state of AI. Where are we versus a year ago, and where is AI going in regards to employment and recruiting?
I think Angela hit on something, which is the purpose-built nature of what the folks in the ecosystem are doing is what matters. Ultimately, I think it's kind of less important. My personal opinion is you ought to be using the best of what's available and also tailoring your solution. I don't think there's one company in the HR tech ecosystem that can, hold a candle to the total compute power that Google and Amazon and Microsoft have. Now, it's our responsibility to be asking the right questions to create the right insights to point that compute power towards, moving the needle with HR tech. Now, is there room for proprietary software? Absolutely, right? The way you think about, we've talked about this before, Joel and Chad, how do we dissect a text string, and how do we break that down to its parts? Or when we were the first to launch our magic resume process using machine vision, but we'd be silly to go create the machine vision on our own, right? But we found a very novel use case for it, or the way we de-identify resumes and transcripts. At the end of the day, I think it's about bringing all those bits together, and I think it's less important ultimately as to, or is it proprietary, or are you leveraging the compute power that those trillion-dollar companies have to offer?
I'm super excited about the future of talent acquisition. I see a convergence of digital marketing with edge technologies like artificial intelligence and machine learning to really get smart about how we automate intelligently to serve a terrific candidate experience and attract and engage new talent, as well as managing the entire hiring journey.
One of the most fun pieces of research that we've done in the last year or so is looking at how employers are embracing AI tools, chatbots, texting, those new capabilities. And it's really exciting to see, because for a long time, when someone talked about the recruiting tech stack, it was their ATS, and that was it. And increasingly, employers are looking for ways to differentiate themselves, to be more competitive in the hiring landscape. And those tools offer a way to create more personal, more engaging experiences for candidates. Candidates honestly don't care where you store their resume. That doesn't matter to them. They care about the front-end experience, and that's the real value of embracing tools like texting, chatbots, and the like.
All right, guys, you ready? Let's get started. Top 10. Number 10, improve the candidate journey.
Hey, Zach, I can take this one. The results from our recent candidate experience survey shows that 69%, that's almost 7 in 10 job seekers who had a negative experience, would rarely or never apply or engage with the employer again. You can only optimize what you can measure, and JobBite helps identify points of candidate friction in several ways. First, deep experience analytics for your entire HR tech stack. Through real-time monitoring, you can easily zero in on issues, behaviors, and other points of friction so you can eliminate them. JobVite's next generation analytics also helps you see broader hiring trends and needs so you can adjust your strategies and tactics to improve outcomes.
All right, fantastic. Thanks so much, Dwayne. Number 9, moving right along, greater diversity and inclusion.
Thanks, Zach. Diversity and inclusion isn't just a social and business priority. In many cases, time and time again, what we found is that more diverse and inclusive organizations outperform their peers, right? From a pure business perspective, from revenue, from profitability, right? So there's a real business case to be made of why your organization should be more diverse and more inclusive. And throw on top of that often in many organizations, there's a legal requirement, right, when we talk about diversity and inclusion. And so when we think about diversity and inclusion, it's not just enough to have a diversity and inclusion kind of feature within a product. Diversity and inclusion should be part of everything that we do from a data and an AI perspective. Everything that we do should be helping organizations become more diverse, more inclusive, being able to widen that funnel to find the best candidates, and then use other pieces of AI, use the recruiters themselves to help narrow that funnel down, right, and really find that great candidate. At JobVite, we've got a lot of great solutions and a lot of great products. Some of them are specifically around D&I, right? Resume masking is a great solution and an offering that we have that takes a resume and will mask out, potentially, limiting terms around geography or gender, right? That can introduce bias. But beyond that, we've got a lot of other great solutions, right? Candidate matching. What we've done with candidate matching is we've built it from the ground up, where we are very cognizant of diversity and inclusion and bias that can creep in, and how do we protect those subpopulations? Same thing with content recommendation. When we think about content recommendation, it's not just identifying similar or good content. It's with the understanding of how will that similar or good content impact subpopulations that we really care about, right? How does it impact diversity and inclusion? Will it make certain subpopulations more or less likely to apply for a job or to engage with your organization? And so when we think about diversity and inclusion here at JobVite, right, from an AI perspective, it's not about building a one-off, kind of solution or offering. It's about bringing diversity and inclusion into every algorithm, right? It's about bringing it into every conversation that we have on the AI team and coming up with a really good solution that ultimately its goal is to not just provide a better experience for our users, but also to promote diversity and inclusion across the platform.
Awesome. Thanks, Morgan. Number 8, improve audience targeting. Who do you think is going to take this one? I will, in fact. So think about all those sources that we've got. Their career sites, their job boards, their social pages. There are internal candidates. There's recommendations and referrals. So there's a ton of places that we can reach out to find those attractive, highly qualified candidates. And knowing when to reach out to what source and how to optimize that is really critical. So being able to look at the data and identify where do I need to spend my time and my dollars to get the best outcome and get those most highly qualified candidates in the shortest amount of time. That's really the important part. Number 7, hire more qualified candidates.
How do we as recruiters and talent acquisition professionals improve and impact our organization? Right? One of the best ways we can do it is helping hire great qualified candidates. Right? And one of the ways that AI helps us do that is being able to identify who's qualified, who has the experience and the skills that it takes to really succeed in that position. And that's where AI plays, right? That's what AI does really well. AI can take a job description, right? Understand what are the skills, what are the What are the experiences necessary to really succeed in this role, right? And then map that from a job description onto the resumes to be able to identify those candidates who have the skills or similar skills. Doesn't have to be the exact skill, right? It could be something very similar. But who has those skills and those similar skills, those experiences that are required to do that role really well, and surface and bubble those up to the top so that you spend your time working with and engaging with really great and qualified candidates, and be able to spend your time in the most effective way that you can.
Number 6, engage candidates faster.
You've got to engage candidates at the right time and on their terms, whether that's when they're passively exploring your company, or when they're actively seeking a career change, or when they just want to connect with resources that can help them better understand who you are as an employer, or even when they need help. You need the right tools and the right strategy to help you engage with your candidates. Intelligent messaging like text and chatbots are always on and available to answer questions, to help candidates navigate your career websites and your hiring process. And structured feedback through the form of surveys will help capture the voice of the candidate to help you continuously improve your recruiting programs. First impressions matter, and the right candidate experience solutions at the right time can help you create great personalized experiences at scale.
Number 5, sourcing better candidates.
As talent acquisition professionals, we've all been there, right? A year ago, we talked to a candidate, really loved that person. Boy, what was their name? What role did they apply for? I think it works, I think that person works out for this one, but I just don't remember, right? It can be really hard and really tedious for talent acquisition professionals to maintain, hundreds, thousands, millions of previous candidates who've applied, who've, are current employees, right? Who are referrals. How do you go through that massive database of people to understand when a new role comes down the pipeline? Who should we be reaching out with? Who should we be engaging to potentially fill that role? And that's where AI can be really helpful, right? AI can do that work for us. AI can monitor that database, right? It can look through those, millions of different individuals, or thousands, depending on your size, right? It can look through all those individuals and say, for this particular role, here are the people who are best suited, right? Based on their skills, based on their qualifications, based on their experience, right? Even location. It can identify those individuals and bring them to the top so that you can then have the time to engage with them, invite them to apply, so that you can get really great people in your pipeline. You can get really great people applying for that role in that position. This is where AI is just so helpful, right? It's about removing that really tedious work of maintaining the folders and maintaining these lists, and allowing you to spend more time engaging with really great candidates.
Number 4, screen candidates quickly. This is another one I'm gonna jump on. So I'm pretty convinced that everything in life should be faster. Even like the speed of light, maybe we need to try to make that a little bit faster. But if I think about the world as a candidate, the last thing that I want to have is slow response time, uncertainty as to what the next steps are. So if we think about the tools that we have that Dwayne was mentioning earlier around surveys and chatbots and intelligent messaging, all of these allow more of a pull system versus a push system, to where candidates can move along at the speed that they want, following the process that the recruiters have predefined, enabling a much faster time to fill and an overall better experience. Number 3, host better events.
Hosting better events. This is something that, the 10-year-old version of myself, right? I feel some night sweats coming on here, right? What if I had a birthday party and no one came? I sent out all the invitations and no one came. Well, that's what it used to be like in the TA space, right? We'd host events, we'd, do some work and say, hey, we'd advertise, we're doing this event, why don't you come, right? Well, AI and automation have changed all that. It's no longer just kind of throwing out an event and hoping people show up. It's about being able to proactively engage with these individuals before the event, right? Get them interested in the event. Tell them why this event is relevant for them, right? And when they show up to the event, almost having it tailored to their unique experience. Events can be better, right? And they can be better with AI and automation because it makes this pre-engagement, right? It makes it a lot less onerous. It makes it almost just intuitive, right? And enjoyable for your candidates. But the work's not done there, right? So you've held a successful event, right? You did the work. Your AI and your automation, that it helped engage those people to come to your event. You had great conversations. Well, AI and automation's here at the end to help you out too. Once the event's over, you're not done. AI and automation can help re-engage with those potential candidates, invite them to apply, invite them to the next event, keep them engaged with your organization, keep them engaged with your brand, so that really your events are a success in every sense of the term.
Well said, Morgan. Number 2, demonstrate results.
So if you want to raise the bar on your talent acquisition programs, and we know everybody here wants to do that, you must be able to show meaningful results. And that means you also must have objective measurement across your HR technologies to successfully show return on those investments. And once you have the right measurement in place, you have to be able to tell a compelling story through that data to clearly show the impact of new efficiencies, greater productivity, and to create better outcomes.
All right, and the number 1 item on our list of AI analytics and automation top 10 is my favorite one as well. Drum roll, please. Solve the unsolvable.
This is my absolute favorite as well, Zach. Solve the unsolvable. There's no problem that we can't solve when we work together and we collaborate. That's why at JobVite we take a collaborative approach to AI and automation and analytics. We like to work with our customers to understand what their challenge is and apply AI and ML to help solve those challenges. This is not the AI and ML of a decade ago or 2 decades ago. This is really good stuff, ready for prime time. And so what we do is we work with our customers to understand what their challenge is, where can AI better assist and help our customers really achieve the business objectives that they're looking for, right? And that's why we have the AI Innovations Lab here at JobVite, where we're able to work alongside of our customers. We're able to work with our customers to solve those problems together. And that's why I'm really excited about the AI Innovations Lab. It's that ability to work and collaborate with customers. So if you've got an unsolvable problem or you've got something that you think is really hard, let's talk about it because I know there's a solution out there and we're excited to work with you and figure out what that solution is.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Morgan and Dwayne, for joining me and helping me go through the top 10 reasons that AI analytics and automation are here today and here to stay. Let's review our AI analytics and automation top 10, starting with number 10, improve the candidate journey. There are a lot of steps throughout this process, and if you can focus on automating even the smallest piece, it can create a much better experience for both the candidate and the recruiter. Number 9, greater diversity and inclusion. This is more important now than ever. And how do we focus on using machines to help us understand where we're introducing unintentional bias and how we can eliminate it from the process? Number 8, improve audience targeting. There's so many sources for us to pick from as recruiters, but how do we find the ones that are most effective and efficient in finding the talent that we need now? Understanding how to do that when looking at it from a human perspective is really challenging, but machines and automation will help point out which sources are the most effective and will allow us to get the best results. Number 7, hire more qualified candidates. No one wants to hire less qualified candidates, but how do we take advantage of the tools that we have in place, like candidate matching and skills assessments, to understand who are those most highly qualified candidates that we should really be focusing our time and attention on, especially when looking at the job description and understanding who is best matched and why, and allow us to really dig in and understand when we take it to the next step of that interview. Number 6, engage candidates faster. Speed is something that's incredibly important to me, but it's also important to a lot of our candidates. There's a lot of activity going out there and a lot of competitive pressures when we're talking to each of these individual candidates. How do we respond and react in a timely fashion to maintain that high level of engagement to ensure that we are matching the best and most qualified candidates now and throughout the entire process in a timely fashion in a way that creates a fantastic experience. Number 5, source better candidates. There's a ton of sourcing options out there, and how can we use our intelligence and analysis to understand which sources have best performed based upon the specific job description that we have? Certain sources might perform better for executive searches, while others might be better for more high transaction positions. So how do we take this data and understand where can we apply that to have a better, faster, more efficient process going forward, all resulting with more qualified candidates at the end of the pipeline? Number 4, screen candidates quickly. Again, speed is one of my favorite things, and understanding how do we engage candidates when they are ready on their time is incredibly important. And how can we do that with automated screens and text bots and chat bots, and really allowing the candidate to move at the speed that they're comfortable with and not always waiting for a very busy recruiter to be able to respond to a personalized email. Number 3, host better events. I remember the days when we used to pack hundreds, if not thousands of people in a big room, all standing in long lines, rubbing elbows, but we'll get back there soon enough. But whether it's hosting large physical events or virtual events, the intention is still the same. How do we gather all those interested candidates and get the information that we need from them quickly and allow us to review that data after the event and understand who are those most interested and qualified candidates that we need to reach out to and begin to having a more deep conversation with. Number 2, demonstrate results. So everything that we've talked about so far is fantastic, but if we can't track it and put some metrics around this, how do we know that it's working? How do we know what's valuable and what's not? How do we know what to optimize next? The critical point is at each step of using AI, analytics, and automation is understanding where are we making the improvements and exposing that data in the form of key metrics or dashboards or something that's right in front of us that we can track on a regular basis is really critical for us to continue to evolve and improve as recruiters and members of the TA team. And lastly, number 1, solve the unsolvable. So nothing that we've talked about is waving a magic wand, but what we do have to consider is we have a lot more tools and capabilities than we had even a couple of years ago. We really need to understand what is available and how we can leverage this amazing technology to really create a better experience for both the candidates and the recruiters, all while creating a much more efficient, optimized, and effective process so we can bring in the best talent in the most effective, fast way. So all of the applications that we just reviewed are currently available and will help recruiters improve their productivity, efficiency, and overall hiring success. So thank you so much for joining us and have a great day.